report?
Yep, I have a number of things I wanted to report on. One is, so just to let you know, I did go on Larry Kovar's website, Aquatic Analysts, and it does say that he has 3 state-of-the-art mechanical weed harvesters. So it looks like Larry's company is still harvesting. So you may want to reach out to him. Just to give you a heads up, though, I know this time of year, a lot of times the companies who do harvesting, they have all their jobs lined up for the summer. So it may be difficult to even get him in. I have no idea, but it may be worth just reaching out to him and finding out, you know, what his capacity is right now. So I did want to let you know about that. So just to give you an update on other lake activities. So this Wednesday, we'll be out on the lake doing our cyanotoxin and algae nearshore monitoring. So that's happening this Wednesday. Remember, we do it once in July, once in August. As soon as we have those results, we will forward them to the commission. And then the following Wednesday, the 22nd, we do our full water quality monitoring. In addition to that, if you recall, in June, we did our large phoslock treatment, the 50 acres and landing. And since then, we've done our post-monitoring, and the results were promising. We did get a reduction in phosphorus and a decline in algae. So we'll be out there again in July. We'll collect another set of samples and see how that's going. We've been installing those biochar sausages as part of the HABs grants. So we installed a set of them at 4 different locations last week, and we actually collected stormwater samples on Friday. And then this week we'll be installing the rest of the biochar. In addition to that, we have to follow up on the aqua filters at the borough of Hopatcong. So I owe you, the commission, a memo, and I have to regroup with some of our people about how to move forward on cleaning out those basins and filling them with biochar to increase the ability of those large structures to remove phosphorus. We're waiting on the advance payment from the state so we can install the 3 aeration systems, again, as part of the HAB grant, as well as the floating wetland islands. And then probably this week, we're going to be doing a green clean treatment of Ashley Cove to knock down that mad algae so we can start adding phoslock in that cove. I need to confirm that with Scott, who's our Director of Field Operations. And then finally, I do want to mention, I forwarded to Colleen just before the meeting, we provided a memo. Remember, after the harvester flipped over, some of the rescue team, members of the rescue team were feeling ill. So we actually collected some samples, and that memo summarizes our assessment of the water, you know, in that area where some of the rescue team members became ill. So that memo summarizes what we found. So that's what I have right now. If you have any questions on the memo or anything I've mentioned, you know, feel free to ask them.
Fred, what's happening with the HABs?
So, like I said, I've just summarized some of the projects. So we've implemented some of the projects.
I mean, what's happening as far as the levels?
Well, I'll be able to answer that after Wednesday. So I can say when we were out in June, we have seen lower amounts of HABs based on the June data than we have since last year. So overall, HABs are lower this year for most of the lakes we monitor compared to last year. I'll have more information on Lake Hopatcong by the end of this week. But in general, it seems like because we had such a mild winter and because the weed growth was so strong in a lot of the lakes that we monitor, we've had less amounts of HABs than we had last year.
Fred, do you have a concern on the deluge we got the other day, raising the lake up? Would that lead to a possible bloom?
Well, the nice thing about a real heavy rain is at least it helps to flush not only the water, but a lot of the algae out. The worst condition to have is what we had last June, which is we would have like a real intense storm for like, 30, 40 minutes, and then we'd have a couple days of sunny weather. And the problem with that is you're rinsing the watershed, all the nutrients go in, but you don't have a lot of the nutrients and the algae washing out. So that's why we had the problem we did last year. A large storm like that, yes, it's bringing nutrients in, but it's also flushing algae and nutrients out. So, you know, of the two types of storms, I would prefer to have a deluge as opposed to a small intense storm. Now that's barring flooding aside, but relative to the HABs, that's what I would say.
Thank you.
Fred, I have one question. You said Green Clean. Did you say Ashley Cove?
Yes. So, so we are doing a green clean treatment at that beach area, and I have to reach out to that beach club. So that's separate. But when we put that permit in, we included Ashley Cove because of the exact situation that came up, which is there's a lot of mad algae in Ashley Cove now. If we try to do the phoslock, it's not going to do anything because the phoslock is more of a proactive treatment. So we have to knock down that mad algae. So Scott wants to go in there and do a green clean treatment, which is that strong oxidizer. It will kill off that mad algae, and then we can start the phoslock treatment regime.
And you'll just monitor that by phosphorus levels. So you'll be monitoring the.
Yes, we have a whole monitoring program for Ashley Cove that we'll keep an eye not only on the phosphorus levels, but we're also doing the phytoplankton. We're doing the meters with the phycocyanin and chlorophyll A and all of that.
Will the use of Green Clean alter those results?
Yes, we hope they do. We're hoping that their numbers go down. Yes.
All right. I was thinking that the idea was to look at phoslock specifically, so that it would that you wouldn't be able to piece apart which product was really.
We'll see. We'll be able to relative to phosphorus, we'll be able to tease apart easily because the Green Clean does nothing for the phosphorus. Now, what we may see is, and this is why remember we're collecting total phosphorus, total dissolved phosphorus, soluble reactive phosphorus. Because when we have those three forms of phosphorus, then we can figure out what the particulate phosphorus is, what the dissolved phosphorus is. So when you add the Green Clean and you're killing all those cells, a lot of that phosphorus becomes dissolved. So what you want to do is all that dissolved phosphorus, that's why we add the phoslock to inactivate that phosphorus.
Okay.
So we'll be able to tease apart with the phosphorus in terms of what the Green Clean's doing relative to what the phoslock's doing, because phoslock will not directly kill algae, the Green Clean will.
Right.
Anyone else for Fred? All right, thank you, Fred. Appreciate that.
My pleasure.